What's happening, everybody? It's your man Mark Fuller, Team Alliance. This is the intro real quick for video number 10, trade number 10 I should say, of the Blueprint Project. You've heard me say by now many times, well, not many times, but a few times for some of the trades that I've taken so far, that it's a skill trade. Anytime that you hear me say that this is a skill trade, what I'm making reference to in particular is the fact that it's a trade that I'm taking with a very high level of confidence in my decision to take the trade because of the ability to interpret the market at the time. Okay? Skill is what is required on your part to elevate your confidence level so that you can actually take the trade and not be afraid to do it. Many times people will take trades, they're not confident in the trade, they're not confident in what they're seeing in the market at all. They're taking a trade based on what they think their strategy or their method is. And the method and the strategy is simply just a way to curve fit something that you're doing in the market at the time, which might be a pattern, okay? Identifying a pattern is not the same as interpreting the market. When you interpret the market, you're looking at a combination of not only the environment, but also the behavior in the market. And on top of that, on the platform, every component of the trade has to sync up. Like it has to be cohesive. Time and experience is the only thing that's going to allow you to be able to do this with precision. Thus the purpose of training. So I reiterate this all the time, and I keep reinforcing the point that the main component of the blueprint is the training, because you're going to, not only be in training at the beginning while you acquire skill, but you're going to remain in training during the whole process while you demonstrate the skill. So in other words, once you actually have enough skill to feel confident enough to trade, and you can prove that you can win consistently, even after that, you still are going to have to remain in training so that you can constantly have everything that you need to be reinforced, reiterated, gone over again. And all of this repetition is in improving your skill over time, and it's elevating your skill each time. So that's why you keep hearing me talk about the same thing all the time. I sound like a broken record. But it's all good when the broken record is leading to winning. All right, so anyway, trade number 10, y'all enjoy. Much more to come. So we almost at the next interval for the next flip from 200 to 400. And I think one more trade I got, because I already had trade. I already have trade number 11 finished. So on the very next trade that I do take, it's not going to be the next video, it's going to be the video after next. It'll represent trade number 12, which is going to be the flip. The next flip. All right, Mark Fuller, Team Alliance. I'll holler at y'all. Enjoy trade number 10, Blueprint Project. Peace. All right, once again, another skill trade. Another skill trade. That one came very close actually. So we ended up getting the win by 1 micro pip. Right towards the end, price came up, threatened the strike price, and it did hold below. So that was a winning trade. When you are at a certain level within your trading career, um, as you grow and you develop and you are exposed more and more to the market and various different types of environments, um, being exposed to different types of behavior that the market will present to you at the time, experience is something that kicks in also. Like, this is something that I don't talk specifically about too often because it's more of an advanced level, but it is something that is still relevant and it plays a part because this is something that I do personally. Um, you know, Confidence comes from having been exposed to a lot of what the market presents by way of its behavior and the environment that the market, will put, I guess, position itself to be in at different times, at various times. Um, it's not about predicting what the market is going to do. It's more so about recognizing the environment that the market is in at the time, and then whether or not you want to take a trade based on a variety of other elements included in the scenario as well. So, in other words, it's not just based on one particular thing. There are a number of different nuances that play a part in whether or not you will ultimately decide to take that trade based on your experience level. So, a lot of it has more so to do with whether or not you feel comfortable with the environment that you're seeing, whether or not you're able to recognize the behavior and the environment that is presented before you, and then whether or not things sync up in that environment to present you with an actual opportunity to trade. So all of these different things play their role, and it's time and experience that really allows you to be able to benefit from what the market does. It's just that simple. You know, what I do when I'm training my students, I'm not training you at a level where it's advanced because the advancement comes from your exposure to the market. That doesn't come from me. I'm only able to guide you and to position you with the framework that is there to ensure that you don't lose trades. Like, that's what it is that you're being trained to do. You're being trained and conditioned not to lose trades in the market. Well, how are you able to do that? By being able to recognize what a losing situation looks like in the first place. If you don't know what it looks like to lose, how are you going to know, what a winning situation is going to look like if you haven't been exposed to what the market is capable of doing on the flip side? You got to be exposed. This is where the practice and the training comes in. Observation. The majority of our time is spent watching, observing the market, looking at what it's doing, not taking trades. Just now took that trade, and again, sometimes I do this just for purposes of whatever the project is that I'm working on at the time. Right now I'm working on this project. This is the Blueprint project, and it's simply a display of the level of skill that you eventually and ultimately will elevate to as you continue to train and to condition yourself to not only recognize what market environments you're in, not only recognize the behavior of the market at the time, but to be able to articulate the confidence that you need to pull the trigger if a trade is presented in that scenario. So that, there's a lot that plays a part. It's not just limited to one thing, to one actual thing that you're doing. Like, people want to make it so cut and dry, but it's not like that. That's why you need a blueprint, because you need to know step by step what is the actual thing that you need to be doing at the time. And I can't reiterate enough. First part of the blueprint is training. For the first phase that you're going to be in, and you're going to be in the training phase indefinitely. So it's not just about, oh well, you start out training and then once you get the skill, you don't have to train anymore. No, you start out training, and as you acquire skill and elevate your skill level, you continue to train. And as a matter of fact, you begin to train even more intense, because now you're being exposed to more and more of what the market presents. And that's how you're going to be able to be consistent and win your trades, because you know what losing situations look like and you know how to avoid them completely. And as a matter of fact, you're being trained through the framework to position yourself to not even be anywhere near a potentially losing situation. Like some of the trades that you see me taking in this project, and and other challenges that I've done, the trade or die challenge or the all or none challenge, I take different types of trades on purpose, because every trade that I take I'm confident in. That's not to say that the actual market won't test whatever the trade is at the time. Just now, the trade that you just saw, the market threatened the strike price, but it also held. It held at the end, and I won that trade. So it's not that I got a crystal ball and I know that I'm going to win all the time. I know what environment in the market to be in order to position myself to have the best opportunity to win, even if the market comes close. Even if the market comes close. That's an important distinction to make. This is not a method or a strategy. This is skill. This is skill, and that's what I'm demonstrating. So anyway, this trade represents trade number 10, I believe. I believe this is trade number 10, if I'm not mistaken, of the Blueprint project. So we got another couple of trades to go before you'll see the balance right around the $400 mark. When we flip it to 400, we're going to scale up to 4 contracts. And we're just going to keep moving just like that. Just like that. We're going to just keep flipping. All right. So anyway, Mark Fuller, Team Alliance, Blueprint Project. You'll stay tuned. More trades to come. All right. Deuces.